Upgrades.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review brought to you from the Sundance Film Festival. This film here that we're reviewing next stars Ben Platt, who I have not seen since the tragedy of dear Evan Hansen in a film. But here, this film is called Theater Camp. And this one is directed by Molly Gordon, who also stars in this film, and Nick Lieberman. And here is the quick synopsis. Theater Camp follows the eccentric staff of a rundown camp in upstate New York who must band together with the son of the beloved founder to keep the camp afloat when she falls into a coma right before the summer session is set to begin. Okay, first off, let's say it is unnecessarily hilarious that we get the issues of the mom here at a play who falls into a coma at a theater camp. And when she falls into the coma at the theater camp, we see the struggles of this camp attempting to continue on. Now, this is shot kind of like a mockumentary type of format. That's the way that they shot this film. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all here, because it actually leads to some of the best comedic performances of this film, or comedic elements of this film, is that it is shot that way. Down to as the camp gets together after her fatal coma incident and her son takes over the camp, and we get just them attempting to put on 5 shows here at the camp and splitting up the kids as the kids audition for different roles and different plays. And that is the goal of this film, is when you see that. And if you know a theater kid, if you know anything about theater, these are the elements of the film that are great. Like, just to see the kids audition, to see them fight, see the people, the creative people behind the scenes fight over which kid is going to be in which play, why certain kids don't fit certain plays. It is great. All those elements are really, really good in this film here. The film at times, though, falls off a little bit. And it only falls off a little bit because it's a stick. And once that stick goes on too long, you feel like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? And you're waiting for the next big comedic moment or the next great character to come out. Like, it's a huge cast of kids here, but none of them really stick out enough for you to say that kid pays attention to. We do get the son who is attempting to just work his way through this camp. It's not necessarily a great thing, and he's not necessarily the best at it, and his character is so annoying. Like, you've seen this character a multitude times of him having to be thrust into responsibility and him failing miserably, down to here an extremely funny moment where he gets the theater kids to help serve a dinner to some people he was hoping to help invest into the camp. Again, it's gold. It's funny. It's everything you would want. But then the film reverts right back to the same things over and over again, the same plots that you find oh too familiar here. Now, from a direction standpoint, it's directed beautifully. I love the way this film is directed. I love the way they set up jokes. I love just the aspect of theater life that this gives people. Again, if you're a theater kid, you're gonna fall in love with it, because there's so many moments that are very reminiscent of what you possibly went through as a theater kid that makes this film work on so many levels. Again, the only flaw is it keeps on repeating the same joke over and over and over and over again, to the point by the time you get to the third act, which is really good. It's a really good third act, down to an amazing kid character that we don't get to explore more of, a kid who is clearly more, I'm not going to use more masculine presenting, as he wants to play football and everything, but he's also in the theater. And then we see just him having issues with the other theater kids who can't believe he wants to play sports. Like, it's so many elements of this film that really, really works. And I just feel if we didn't get the repetitive joke over and over again, the struggling theater camp, what we got to do to save the camp and all this other, it just drags itself down a little bit. But if you're in a theater, if you're in to this mockumentary type of style of filming, which tends to normally lead to really good comedic moments in film, I think you're going to really enjoy this one here. Again, nobody in the cast necessarily sticks out here. And while I did want a kid, possibly in this cast, to stick out a little bit more, to really draw you into what theater life is, that could have been funny. But as an ensemble, I think they do a really good job of just having fun. This film is so lighthearted. Like, even in moments where it seems a little dark, as we get the two lead camp counselors bickering at times back and forth, with both of them were theater kids, and now they're here as they made a pact with one another to stay here for this theater camp to help the kids out. Like, even when they bicker back and forth, it's never to the extent where it feels mean-spirited. Even that feels lighthearted, which is always a good thing. And at times, because of that lightheartedness and because of just the enjoyment we see with the kids on screen and just the theater life in general, it kind of helps us push past the point that it's still a tired, repetitive joke over and over again. But this is still more than entertaining enough to really get you hooked on the theater life, theater kids, a theater camp of kids, the way they set up the plays. I'm still blown away just by the whole setup of auditioning these kids and then seeing these adults behind the scenes break down which kids should be in which play. That scene alone is worth watching this film. So, Theater Camp, brought to you by the Sundance Film Festival. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give Theater Camp a 7.5 out of 10. This is a film, again, I don't know if anybody's picked it up yet. I don't think they have. Someone clearly is going to pick up this film. This film is funny enough to really get you intrigued into watching and caring more about theater life. And if that was the goal of this film, is to get people to care about theater and possibly get their kids to go to something like this, you know, that's great. It's a great way to do it. But just in turn of it being a film, it's really entertaining. Again, a lighthearted family film. You don't get that too often. I definitely didn't expect to see that at Sundance Film Festival. Those are not necessarily normally the films that I go after seeing. But when I did with this one, it just caught me off guard. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it, even though I'm not even a theater kid, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I think you will too. This has been another JVS movie review from the Sundance Film Festival. Peace, people.